Hello, everybody. Today I have the pleasure of chatting with Chel Lloyd from Dope Coffee out of Atlanta. And I'm super excited to have you on the podcast today. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you're doing with Dope Coffee?
Yeah, excellent. Well, like you said, I'm one of the co-founders and chief product officer for Dope Coffee Company. I am a registered dietitian with a focus in clinical dietetics, so that's where my science plug comes in with the products that I make. My role at Dope Coffee as the chief product officer is to make sure that our products, which are inspired by Black culture, represent a health need for the culture in order to propel us in our creativity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. What does your everyday kind of day to day look like to make sure that happens?
Man, you know what? That is a loaded question. The fun part, the fun part about it, honestly, is I get to create. That's the fun part of my day, and to ensure that I'm making products that will help people in Black culture feel comfortable in their own skin. I think about issues and needs and problems exactly the way that science does. You want to feed your curiosity. So throughout my day, I not only look at what goes into our products and making sure that I'm not just picking like a good moisturizer or a good exfoliant. Each ingredient is chosen specifically for a need for black skin and melanated skin. So throughout my day, it's research heavy, it's science heavy, which is what I love, but it's also tested within our community and tested on melanated skin. So yeah, that's pretty much what my day consists of right now.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in the coffee business?
Yes, about 5 or 6 years ago, we were stationed in North Carolina. My husband was a Marine, and I was in school. We have 3 kids, so we were really busy, and there weren't really any coffee shops in the area, and it was built out of a need, out of a personal need and a community need, because everybody there is it's a working class community and everybody goes nonstop. We ended up getting into the coffee business out of a need for for good coffee. The community that we lived in didn't really have a storefront that could accommodate the type of lifestyle that we lived, and we decided that that needed to change and there was a need for it in the community. So we built 2 coffee shops, and that was like my first debut into product creation, which which everyone would then sample. The love of coffee grew. We were more at first, like I said, it was a need, but after a while we came to appreciate the different types of coffees, and I started looking at coffee more as a food versus a like just something that you consume just to keep awake. Looking at it more as a food, I internalized every part of the bean and started to break it down. And honestly, it's kind of where the segue starts turning from Solar Cafe to Dope Coffee, because in Solar Cafe, it was literally just about it was about the coffee, but it was more about, it was our first business. We were just getting started and getting our foot in the game as being entrepreneurs. But once we moved to Atlanta and we really got immersed in our culture and immersed in like what coffee really is and what it means to our culture, that's when our business changed and we created Dope Coffee from an idea that literally spoke through the harsh truths of Black culture. And our goal came to put Black faces with coffee and create a platform that elevates Black culture through coffee instead of just being a business that, just sells a product to its customers. We wanted to do
Mhm.
much, much more than that. So I would say our start came from, that brick and mortar, which we built ourselves, but then it transformed into a passion and a need that we saw in our community and with ourselves. And that's when Dope Coffee came about.
Oh, wow. I love that transition.
Yeah.
It must have been really cool too, from your background as
Hmm.
someone in nutritional science, to be able to look at the full coffee experience and really break that down.
Yes, yes.
So, what is Dope Coffee?
We are primarily an e commerce brand. We have a bunch of divisions that sell coffee on different platforms. We have our bag coffee, we have our skincare line, we have our merch line, but that's just like the front face of Dope Coffee. The back end of Dope Coffee is what I was talking about before. It literally is a platform built to elevate Black culture. Building Dope Coffee, it's not like building a brick and mortar. You don't just put a little bit of time into it, slap your products up and say, hey, I'm open for business. It's a continuous thing. And we keep ourselves submerged in the community so that whatever we do provide from a product standpoint from Dope Coffee directly relates to what the community needs at that point in time. Dope Coffee it's a conglomeration of what I think Black culture needs in terms of not just products to help feed the soul, but a platform to kind of launch that Black culture creativity out into the world.
That's very cool. And what an important initiative these days, too.
hmm
Can you tell me your thoughts on the current state of coffee in the US?
Yeah, yeah. We don't like to approach coffee how it's traditionally been approached. And we got a lot of hit back early on about being, possibly being exclusive or not really letting everyone participate. And we really wanted to squash that and say, no, the reason why we not only chose the name Dope Coffee, but what we stand for is because we saw that there was a lack of not just a lack of diversity, but just lack of coffee knowledge and dissemination across all platforms. So with Dope Coffee, we don't really go against what coffee represents out there in the world right now. We're different. It's almost like a black sheep. You come in and you're still a sheep, but you're black. And you may do things differently. You may see things differently. And that is what is portrayed in our company. We don't just see coffee as, something that you have to have a $500 machine for, and then you pay $10 to drink one cup. We look at coffee from the fruit to the roasted bean, and we break that down and we try to use it in every single way possible because that's who we are. Our skincare products are primarily made up of upcycled coffee beans that we use for like caterings or that we use in the selling of coffee. So we're a different type of company, and we haven't even hit on the music and hip hop portion of our company because that in and of itself is a whole nother division. Dope Coffee in the culture of coffee should stand out because we're not like any other coffee brand that's out there. Our brand really does stand for more of what the culture needs and the voice of the culture. And then everyone who partakes in Dope Coffee literally gets that coffee sent to them in whatever form that they need, whether it be skincare, beauty, or consumption.
I love that you're taking such a holistic approach to it and really being so thoughtful about using the whole plant and
hmm
being able to provide it to people in the way that they're looking for. What makes your coffee stand out from the rest?
It's our taste palette and our taste preference, in addition to the fact that we want people to not only buy our coffee, but to be able to make great coffee at home. So I guess it goes twofold. We do quality control, we curate our grind and our taste profiles based off of which bean that we use. But then we want to share that knowledge with our customers because if you're more knowledgeable about what you're eating or drinking, you can better appreciate what you're eating and drinking, not only just from a taste standpoint, but from nutritional quality as well. We give the customer both sides of the product, the consumption and the knowledge behind it. So I think that's what really makes us stand out.
There's nothing better than knowing where your food comes from and
hmm
knowing the background of it and the history of it. What kind of characteristics do you look for flavor wise when it comes to choosing the coffees that you sell?
Honestly, it depends on the vibe I want it to give. And because I mean, people talk about emotional eaters, they normally get a bad rep, but I feel like if people listen to more of how they feel, then they can dictate what they want to eat or want to drink. Let's just say, take this morning. I needed something to really get me going. I needed something that was bright and energizing, but not too strong. So I chose our Dope Sunrise because that is one of the coffees that it literally hits the mark on being bright, getting you started in the morning, but it still has kind of a mellow feel to it so it doesn't spike your your caffeine sensors. But then again, if I was, having a more relaxed day and I wanted to chill out and jump on my computer and do some research, I would choose our Tanzanian because it's a darker roasted coffee, but it's a very vibrant bean and the flavors just dance around when you drink it. So when I'm choosing a coffee, like a coffee roast or a coffee bean, I'm looking for the characteristics of that bean to fit a persona that I want to portray to the customers.
Oh, I love that. I made a cup of the dope coffee organic Guatemalan this morning, and it is just my favorite. It's
Yes.
so delicious and not overpowering. How long have you all been in business?
We've been in business for about 2 years. Our e-commerce website launched about a year ago, so we're relatively young as the dope coffee company, but our experience, like I said, extends back about 6 or 7 years to when we were running Solar Cafe.
And do you sell your coffee in person too, in a coffee shop or a farmer's market, anything like that, or is it all done online?
As of right now, thanks to COVID, it is all online. Yeah, we COVID when COVID hit, we were right in the middle of dissemination plan. We were gearing up and getting ready to do more caterings, to do more events, and which we would sell, our products and our merch. But when COVID hit, we had to pivot. And just like most businesses, I believe, and we pivoted to mainly online and really trying to connect with our community through any online platform that we could find, in addition to some of the ones that we made ourselves. Like when back in March, we started launching Dope Coffee Breaks, which were supposed to be in person, but we pivoted and put those online so that we can still connect with everyone. And we got an overwhelming amount of support from not just the people in Atlanta, but for all of our coffee drinkers that partake in dope coffee across the US. So it was really nice to see everybody kind of get on those calls and share their insight, not only about dope coffee, but about the state of America right now and Black culture.
That's really cool. I mean, not only are you sharing, like you said, the drink, but you're getting all these different perspectives from around the country. And things were just so different. The past couple months, everyone's had such a different experience based on where you are and what you're doing and how you're dealing with all of that. So it must have been really nice community support aspect to that as well.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It wasn't, I'm not going to say it was surprising, but it reinforced what we were doing because as a
Hmm.
young company, you have to make decisions on how you want your company to be portrayed and what direction you want to see your company going. But as a young company, you don't really know if it was, hey, should I have done that? Should we have done something else? But we see that we are right on the money when it comes to what we want to do and who we want to be as a company, and we see that from all of the community support.
That's great. And super reassuring, I bet, too.
Definitely.
Are you still doing the dope coffee breaks?
As of now, no. We didn't have to like pivot again, but since we are a young company, like we're still building and our efforts had to be used in other divisions. But we do have other podcasts. We have a podcast called Confessions of a Native Son, and you can find it on Spotify and Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. Our voice of Black culture and Black business, in addition to spinning it with a little bit of being Black in the military, we kind of put our voices into one podcast and share that with the community. So even though the Dope Coffee Breaks kind of stopped for a little bit, they more so morphed into something else. And we decided that podcast is where it's at least for right now, since
That's
COVID
great.
has hit. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's listening to podcasts more.
Oh,
And
yeah,
it,
yeah, and I think a lot of people have been anyways, but I think more so it's like podcast is where it's at because I think people are finding themselves busier now and being able to have time to think more. So podcasts, at least for myself, I love them because I can multitask.
especially because we can't have in-person events at the moment, it really
Hmm.
does bring so many diverse perspectives to the table. And you don't have to all be in the same place, too. You can have a participant from another state, like what we're doing right now. and
Right.
it's just so much easier to get different thoughts and voices being shared. That's really
Hmm.
cool. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the ways that you're marketing and promoting?
We primarily market through social media, our e-commerce site, but we also have a another division that's really getting built up right now, and it includes music and hip hop especially. Our marketing right now is pretty much based around the fact that we really want Dope Coffee to be viewed as a platform. We're trying to walk it like we talk it. Like there's a lot of things that we put out there that we're going to do and that we want to do. Now, since we've wrapped up our crowdfund, we have the ability to do it. When it comes to like our marketing strategy, as of right now, it's really trying to promote one of our artists on Dope Coffee's platform, which is Creative Mike the Rapper. And he has a project coming out later this year called Spinach. And honestly, ties right in with the mood and the vibe of Dope Coffee. It's another way that we can get a product out to our listeners, not only so that they can have like, a good vibe to listen to, but to also spit some knowledge about our culture and the things that have happened before, in addition to, hey guys, here's something that you can do right now. Here's something that we can do as a culture right now.
Hmm.
So our marketing right now is really geared towards promotion, but promoting Black culture through our products. So you'll start to see these artist merch packs coming out where they have customized products that go with their merch packs that Dope Coffee specifically creates for them. That's our next avenue that we're going to go down and try to build up.
That's super cool. When I got my coffee, I got the Creative Mike sticker and the Creative
Yeah.
Mike button. I was going to ask you about that. Now, is he going to be hosting radio shows and spinach on your website in the radio section?
Yeah, so that radio section is going to be built out. It's going to be called Voice. And the radio section, it's going to be a section that how you have like these like easy listening type stations where you can just click on it and it plays a certain type
Hmm.
of vibe of music. Well, our voice section is literally it's a Dope Coffee vibe, and it's a vibe that we send out to kind of give you a feel about how our culture is feeling at the moment, things that we need to listen to keep going on our day to day, things that or sounds that inspire us, because a lot of what's on the Dope Coffee radio right now, I mean, there's an album on there from Stace Lloyd called Columns, and Columns doesn't have any words to it. It's beats and music, but I love it because sometimes I just need something to vibe with while I'm trying to create. So that's what we're really trying to build, and that's what people will get when they come to our music or hip hop section at Dope Coffee.
That's amazing. I love that you're combining music with the rest of the coffee business and putting it in such a prominent place. I was looking through your Instagram and I really love all of the photos, personal photos of you and your husband.
Hmm.
I think that really, grounds the brand in authenticity and it really puts a face to the company. But how has that been for you as a woman?
It's been exposing, but I would say in a good way, because it brought out the athlete in me, and myself and my team. We're all athletes. We're used to the competitive nature of things. We're used to working for what we want, but it's different. It's different when you're an adult and you are trying to be competitive in business. So, learning that as a Black entrepreneur and really jumping into being an entrepreneur exposed me, and it made me get my butt in gear and remember who I really am at the core. And bringing out my competitive spirit has it's made being an entrepreneur more fun, because when you go and you present yourself on social media or even coming to do these podcasts, knowing that you have to talk about yourself, knowing that you have people out there who may be haters or doubters, it allows you to really hone in on those that do support you, and that's what gets to be reflected when you more or less speak up and speak out for yourself. It's almost like a kill what you eat type situation. And if you think and if you think about it like that, everybody wants to eat. Coming at business and being exposed as a person, I mean, if that's what it takes to do what I want to do and get my ideas out there for my culture, then bring it on.
I love that. keep on bringing it on because it's wonderful. What kind of collaborations have you done?
Before COVID, we were out in the community. We were just starting to get up like our catering up. We were doing pop-up shops, events. We were immersed in the community, and we tried to partner with as many small businesses as we could in Atlanta to help promote not only our product but theirs as well. And once COVID hit, it really kind of kept us to ourselves. We've been doing product collaborations through wholesale and finding not just Black businesses, but businesses that provide subscriptions and gift boxes. They've really been interested in our products because we have such a versatile product line. And you can literally just pick from the product line and cater to either like a beauty box or a coffee lover's box. So most of our collaborations have been in that vein for the past couple of months, but it's found to be promising because it also exposes us to more companies, more small businesses that are out there that are trying to do e-commerce now as well.
That's really cool. And it's kind of nice to diversify with other companies too, you know.
Exactly.
So I know you all are fundraising. How has that been for you? And have you had challenges with it?
We've had challenges, but it's been going great.
Oh,
So
that's good.
we launched our crowdfund in honestly in the middle of COVID, and we had to put out all of our risk factors for raising money during this time. We dug our heels in and we stuck to our guns and we pivoted hard. But what we found out is that we had so much support out there that when we did launch our crowdfund, people were instantly like, nope, we're here. We see you, Dope Coffee. We like what you're doing and we want you to keep going. So even though a lot of our time and resources got kind of pulled into fundraising, it was well worth it because now we're sitting on the other side of finishing up our crowdfund, hitting our mark, and having a lot of the funds that we need, not only to keep going, but to build. When it comes to fundraising in the near future, because we are going to have another crowdfunding raise come out, thanks to all of our supporters, we are now more ready than we were before to build how we want to build. And we know which vein we want to go in because our customer base has shown us that they're there and they see us and they also will support what we're doing.
That's great to hear. I
You
think
know,
COVID has given a lot of people the time and space to kind of really look at what their plans were or are and pivot in such a way that really aligns with their community and aligns with their goals, even more so than kind of, when you're planning something, you're kind of in the rat race of it all, and
hmm
now I think a lot of people have gotten that time. So it's great to hear that you all are about to have another round of funding and that you got to make this round work for you and get some good, clear observations for the path forward. What's your 5-year vision?
that's also a loaded question. um, So our 5-year vision, honestly, is to have Dope Coffee running like a well-oiled machine. We have a couple of divisions, like they talked about before, that we're trying to lift all at the same time because we want the company to come up as one. And in 5 years, we definitely expect to be in what would be considered a semi-large micro-fulfillment facility. We plan to have a couple of those around the US and have almost like create flagship stores so that people can not only see Dope Coffee and see how we operate, what is our vibe, in addition to what we present to them online. We kind of want to do a two front. Our online presence, we want to really pimp out our website and use it to the best of our ability to disseminate all of the information and creativity that we come up with to pretty much everybody in the world. And in addition to doing that, we definitely want to set up some micro fulfillment facilities to not only further our business along and expand it, but to have a presence in targeted communities as well so that they can really see the success of Black culture.
What do you imagine your stores, like what kind of feel do you think your stores are going to have?
Just like the coffee beans, it all depends on the vibe. When I see our micro fulfillment facilities, I see, let's say if we have one in Atlanta and we have one in Oakland and we have one in Miami and then we have one in, let's say, DC, like all four of those micro fulfillment facilities, they will not be the same because the
Hmm.
vibes of Black culture in all of those areas are so different. Now, it will be dope coffee, but the vibe will be for the community that's there, for the people that
Hmm.
are there, and how they interact and see dope coffee. Honestly, it's the part that we're looking forward to because we all have different types of vibe. We might be black, but we're still different. And we love to see our creativity come out in what would be considered a semi brick and mortar. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to building out all of those vibes and seeing how the community plays with them.
That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun for you all.
Yeah.
One thing you all had mentioned in your mission statement and also as part of your website is that right now existing coffee brands really don't represent diverse cultures in their branding. What makes your branding different?
We put black faces on coffee. And when I say that, I go back to when Dope Coffee first started, trying to find an example of what we were talking about with Dope Coffee. We couldn't find it because anytime that we looked for black culture being represented with coffee, it was either as like farmers, picking the beans or some type of feel like that. It was never my culture, hip hop, drinking coffee
Hmm.
black, listening to my music or vibing how I vibe. We couldn't find any of those. So we literally had to recreate all of it and then we just owned it. We were like, "No, this is how we need to see our culture because even though other coffee companies might say like, "Oh, well, we're not for or against. We like this is our company. We love coffee. We help out, these people and those people." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you're black in America, you're not being marketed to by those coffee companies. Nobody wants to support something where the only black and brown person that you see is trying to cater to this big company by working in the fields." So, with Dope Coffee, we took how we see black culture and how we embrace black culture and what we want the future of how we want like black culture to be portrayed. We decided to do that now. We were like, no, we're going to give people a look of how we see ourselves in coffee because we're out there. It's not just dope coffee. Dope coffee is everywhere. It's just waking up in people because they're being able to see our beats being played while we grind our beans. So when it comes to like how we portray our brand, we talk through harsh truths and those aren't bad things. It's just that being black comes with a pastime where you don't really get to see success if you're not a super mega star. What about everybody else that is working in their day-to-day lives, those creatives that may not have had the opportunity that everyone else has had? We want to give hope to all of those people and show them like, no, your hard work and your belief is not for nothing. It is for something. And we want to give you the means to do so. We want you to see it happen. So that's really what makes our brand stand apart from other brands, especially visually.
Can you share some of the changes that you've already seen happening as Dope Coffee has emerged onto the market?
Honestly, we're finding out that our consumers are more than just Black culture. Our consumers are so diverse. They are aware of things that are going on and they're appreciative of not only our company, but how we portray our company because we're a company that does. We think Yoda says it no try, only do. And that right there, if you really just think about it, a lot of people, they only talk or they find an issue with something, but they don't have the time or the means to act on it. With Dope Coffee, what we're finding is that we're reaching everybody in our community that we want to reach. And they have things to say. We've had people contact us and basically say, like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I found you because I thought I was alone out here. I thought that, I didn't know that anybody else, any business could portray how I feel in my life like you all do. And for Dope Coffee, bringing out those feelings in people, you would be surprised how much creativity that sparks, how much energy that drives in people to really make them not only want to do better for themselves, but it makes them want to do better for the future of their community. We're really like bringing people on board with Dope Coffee and engaging with them because yes, we are a business. Yes, we sell products, but we are a platform first and foremost for the elevation of Black culture.
That's so wonderful. And how are you giving back to the Black community?
One of the ways that Dope Coffee is giving back to the community right now is we create jobs. Our jobs right now are helping to grow Dope Coffee, but we want to give back to the community and provide an opportunity for people, just like in our up and coming micro fulfillment facilities, to see a Black company grow. Giving people jobs right now, don't think of it as, okay, we're trying to help like with like unemployment and the people in our community and try to give them a means to keep going. We are trying to do that, but we're also trying to open up their mind so that when they do come into the company right now, you also have an opportunity to grow with the company. And that means that you kind of get a an inside look in Black entrepreneurship as it's growing. So when we talk about giving back to the community, we've only just like hit the tip of the iceberg, because for what we can do right now, just think of what we'll be able to do when we open up our flagship stores. Think about what we'll be able to do when we're able to launch these artists off of our platform. Dope Coffee, in and of itself, is for Black culture in whatever community that it's in, because we can reach people across the world by being e commerce and by having designed our platform the way that we designed it.
That's amazing. I love the global thinking and just being
Hmm.
able to really elevate people from jobs to helping people kind of become more confident with their work skills and their life skills. One last question for you. What can coffee lovers do to support your mission besides just buying your coffee?
Tell people about it. Tell people about Dope Coffee, what we stand for, what we're trying to do. You can follow us on social media. Our Instagram handle is at Real Dope Coffee, or you can send people to our website, www.realdope.coffee, where you can find news of Dope Coffee in our blog, in addition to DC radio that we have up right now. But another form of support is really taking our products and sharing them with people in your community, expanding their view on coffee, and not just from a consumption standpoint, but from a beauty standpoint as well. Really take it and share it with people, because when you share coffee products, honestly, we started off in Dope Coffee as coffees create conversation. And when people can have conversations about things, then that's when we start to move forward, not only in our culture, but in our communities as well. So share, share, share.
All right. Well, we have our mandate then to share and share coffee and share the different social handles that you have. Everybody check them out. Is there anything else you'd like to share, Shell?
I'd like to say thank you for inviting me on this podcast. It's been a wonderful delight.
It's been great to have you as well. You are so eloquent and so inspiring, and best of luck with Dope Coffee in the future. I think what you're doing to amplify Black voices and really provide a holistic view of coffee is just the way of the future. So, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and best of luck.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.